I knew I needed a website. And so I went to Nate specifically for a website, thinking that that was really what I needed. And that's what I thought I bought.
Mhm.
So what I ended up with was a lot more.
Noah here, TaxProMarketer, sitting having a conversation with Phil Hebner out on the West Coast, right, Phil, out in California?
Yes, I'm on Santa Cruz, one step to the Pacific Ocean, and the next dry step is Japan.
Not a bad place to be. Love Santa Cruz. Well, Phil, thank you for taking some time to chat with me today. Looking forward to hearing a little bit about your business growth, kind of some things you've seen over the years you've been with us here at TaxPro, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But as we get started, tell me a little bit about yourself, your company, and some of the services that you guys provide.
Yes, so I'm a sole proprietor. I primarily do income tax for individuals. I have very few businesses of any kind. I do a few trusts,
Mm.
estates. It's just me at this point. I've tried hiring people, and that doesn't seem to work. So I'm going to give it another try maybe next year to hire and fill in. At this moment, my practice is larger than I can handle, so I have to really hustle. And I attribute that to the effectiveness of the website. And we're going to get to that, I'm sure, in more detail. But basically, I have more clients than I can handle.
That's
That's
great.
where I'm at.
That's a good problem to have if one must have a problem.
That's correct. I agree.
Now, now, Phil, we've been, gosh, quite a bit, 4, maybe 5 years we've been doing this together. I
Now it's
get
closer to 8. So I
8 years.
met,
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
yeah, I think Nate had 3 people working for him at the time. So
Mhm.
that may match up. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
I was checking my records. 2016 is when I started with you.
that's amazing. And so, man, all the way back to 2016, where did you get connected with TaxPro?
The highlight of my year was the IRS conventions.
Hey.
And so I've been going to those for not the last 6 years or so, but prior to that, every year I was going to an IRS convention, and there's Nate. And as
Hmm.
a conventioneer, I was avoiding the eye contact with all of the booths because I didn't really want to meet or talk with anybody. And I
Hmm.
finally stopped and talked with Nate. And he handed me his book that he was handing out at the time. That also might narrow down the date of when I started. And
Hmm.
he handed me the book, and I went home, signed up with him, and have been working with TaxProMarketer ever since. And
Yeah.
I've never really had any complaints ever about anything.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
been that
I love it.
good.
We love hearing that. Going back to 2016, you're at this IRS event. What was going on? What was going on in the business that was struck a chord for you to move forward with, but maybe looking for some help for your digital marketing or changing what you were doing?
So I had tried some direct mail through the Everydoor Direct, which
Mm.
was zip code based and carrier route based. And I was able to get some marketing materials out to my neighbors. And that worked fairly well, but it was fairly labor intensive and didn't produce the great results. I knew I needed a website. And so I went to Nate specifically for a website, thinking that that was really what I needed. And that's what I thought I bought.
Mhm.
So what I ended up with was a lot more.
Yeah,
So, but
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, but in the moment, I said, I need a website. You know, I was programming computers when I was 16, and I was a webmaster for a Fortune 500 company, and I knew that I needed a website, but I didn't want to do it myself.
Mhm.
And so I needed a website. That's what I went to Nate for.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, yeah, and we talk a lot of just about that ecosystem that is marketing. Websites a part of it. It's a portion of the ecosystem. But digital ranking, it's a lot bigger than that. It's
Hmm.
SEO is a much bigger picture. But yeah, so it is the website, but there's a lot of other things that have to happen in there to really make sure ranking is going the direction that you wanted. And so going back 2016, what was going on in the business back then? Do you remember terms of revenue, maybe lead generation? What did the business look like at that point?
At that moment, I was underpricing my work. And so I had some work and I was underpriced. I was not overworked. I had too much time on my hands, and I know that my interviews went really long. And so I want to say I was making around 60 grand at the top line, which was not
Mm,
very much. And I was working out of my home. So the changes now are that I have an office and my income is more than doubled. And that's still low, but I've had life experiences that have slowed me down a little bit. So
mm,
just life happens, right? And
yeah.
gets in the way of the business. So what I have is the growth in the business is not where I had in what I had in mind, but it has nothing to do with the website. It has to do with everything that was the monkeys that I was carrying on my back through those
Mm.
years. But
Going
yeah,
back to what you said before, Phil, you have some experience in computer programming. You have experience in a lot of the higher end things. Why have a company like TaxProMarketer build that out for you? Why not just DIY it, take it on yourself, and I mean, figure out how to build out this marketing ecosystem on your own?
I didn't want to. I'd already been
Mm,
doing enough computer work. I knew that I could get easily caught up in the weeds. And again, Nate's book talked more about the value of marketing and value of the message, particularly client relationships.
mm,
So I am such a nerd that I didn't even have any language around how do I communicate with my clients? How do I develop a relationship? Those were completely foreign concepts to me, completely
yeah,
out of my mind. Had no
yeah,
experience, none. When I'm reading his book, I'm seeing that this is really where he lives. And it was a foreign language, it was a foreign land. So for
yeah,
me, Nate opened up my eyes and opened up some doors. And I said, I will pay for a website just to hear his messages.
mm, yeah.
It's really
So
strong
outside
for
of the web,
me.
we've hit on a lot of kind of other things. Do you remember some of the other things we implemented initially, or some of the key things that you're still utilizing that we implement?
Yeah, so the email messaging and
Yeah.
then the web blog. So the website came with a blog and
Hmm.
weekly updates. And what I found was that the language in the blogs was very easy on my ears. It landed where I wanted to land with my clients. It was
Mm,
all relationship oriented.
mm,
The emails were more lengthy, more entertaining, more readable than anything I could have ever created on my own, given my prior experience.
yeah.
So, total worldview change for me.
Yeah. Tell me a little more about the emails. Again, you've been with us for a long time, Phil, and we some people come to us and say, emails? Really?
Right.
2024? Who actually reads emails anymore? Well, I mean, what type of response do you get from your clients from the content that we're preparing for you to send out? Because we send out weekly emails. These are
Right.
going out relationally written, one to one. So they're not coming from us at TaxPro. They're coming from you, the business owner, to your clients. What type of response do you get from your clients from the emails that go out?
So that's been an on again, off again thing for me over the 8 years.
Hmm.
So sometimes I've used it and sometimes I've not used it. I'm not sending them out weekly as I could or as I should. I imagine that if I had, that my business would be much larger.
I love
So
it. I love it.
no, you're
Fast
getting the
forward
truth
eight
here.
years.
Fast
Yeah,
forward
no, I
8.
love it. It's great. It's great perspective. So fast forward 8 years. I mean, we've been doing this. Website's been built out. SEO has been growing for years. Google reviews are growing. All of these different things that play into this. What is you said? In terms of revenue, you'd mentioned you doubled revenue
Yeah,
from where
and
you
that's
were a
really
number of years ago.
low for where it could be right now.
Hmm.
But literally, I get 50 clients a year,
Hmm.
new, knocking on my door.
Hmm.
COVID year, I didn't even reply to my email. I didn't even
Wow.
reply to the inquiries on my door. I
Mm,
simply couldn't, didn't have the bandwidth, wasn't able to even answer the new clients coming in. I had so much going on between the personal life and then the business. So
Mm,
Literally, I lost 2 years of growth through COVID,
mm,
and I was overworked and underpaid and struggling
yeah,
with life. So,
yeah,
so seriously, and yet the clients kept coming and coming and coming, 50 a year.
it's amazing.
So
It is.
crazy
The
good.
business is growing, client acquisition. But what about you personally, Bill? Building out marketing, what's the personal effect as far as, I mean, your business, your time, how has this affected you on that side of things?
Well, so the overwhelm was really clear. But the other thing is the confidence to know that this business will just continue on. I can't break this business. Sometimes my service isn't what I would like it to be,
Mm,
and I become unresponsive to even the clients that I'm working with. And in spite of that, this business is highly resilient. And
yeah.
a lot of that resilience comes directly from TaxProMarketer. It gives me a great deal of confidence that I will always have the work that I want to have. The
Yeah.
hardest part for me is to let go of what I call the PIA clients, the ones who take up too much time. PIA stands for pain in the ass. The ones who take up too much time, mistreat me, mistreat my employees. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so my challenge is to let go of those clients and replace them with clients who are not the PIA clients, and also to learn how to recognize those signals when they're coming in. And
Mhm.
so this is part of the relationship understanding that I'm developing. This is really the hard nut that I'm trying to overcome.
Yeah.
Just a little to give you a little bit of perspective, when I was doing software development for a Fortune 500 company, I was on a team of 10, and I could literally come into the office, spend an entire week in the office, not talking to any of my coworkers. And I was in quality control. So my job was to observe their work, identify the issues for them. And so when I would knock on their cubicle and say, hey, you want to talk for a few minutes? I was not
Mhm.
exactly the nicest person. I was not the smoothest person. And I was really good at identifying issues, which gave me
Mhm.
tremendous raises, but no relationships.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Going from that to a relationship business is like starting from scratch,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So this is the experience that I've had, and I'm still growing.
Well, and the nice thing is when if you have those PIA clients that if they're the bread and butter of your business, you might have to just deal with it if there's not consistent lead flow. But it sounds like,
I have such consistent lead flow, and the hard part is I've spent 10 years with these people, and I need to turn them over to somebody new.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so that's part of the my next growth step.
which I would imagine would alleviate possibly some stress and anxiety and frustration by getting those clients off.
Both of those things are true, and still letting
Yeah,
go is a challenge. So
yeah,
those are some of my
absolutely.
growth steps, as you can see,
Yeah,
understanding what relationships are effective and what
yeah.
relationships are not effective and mutually effective,
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
right?
Well, it sounds like there's just been consistent, steady, great results over the years that we've
So
been doing this
the
together.
website
Because
and
the other thing is,
yes,
yeah,
it's been
I mean,
strong.
this is a relationship that we look at. It's not a, Phil, you and I, we talk from time to time. You talk to other members of our team. We jump on Zoom calls. We never want this to be a, hey, we built the website. All right, see you later. But it's a relationship we enter into because we know that we're successful as a company when you're successful as a company and getting you to the growth goals and lead acquisition and all of these different places is the goal. And it sounds like we've been able to kind of help get you to some of those places. As we wrap up, I do just have one more question for you, Phil.
Oh yeah,
We work with, here at TaxPro, we work with kind of a range. Some of our clients who come to us are startups. They don't have a single client. They're starting their business brand new. They know they need marketing. They know they need to get seen in this digital universe that we live in. And some people come to us with fairly established businesses, but understanding, okay, I need some more lead flow. I need some more clients. I need some more consistency. And I really don't want to wear these hats of marketing. So, there really is a range, but to someone who is considering tax pro, who's thinking about, man, maybe I need to hire a marketing agency to do all of these different things. What would your advice be to someone in that position?
Well, I've already sent people to TaxProMarketer, and what I tell people
Yeah.
is that what you do works, and it's
Hmm.
very, very effective. And so that's what I tell people. You just need to see what they're offering, what the approach is, what the tone is, and
Hmm.
it just works. The
Hmm.
relationship building that has been created with your within your team, between your team and me, because I can speak to my experience with your team, has been amazing. I've taken what I've learned just in my interactions with you and taken that out and used that in my business. Just the whole
Hmm.
approach. And we don't know what our blind spots are. I
Hmm.
couldn't, I had so many blind spots, but we don't know what our blind spots are.
Yeah.
And what Tax Pro Marketer does is they have built so many pieces that I will tell you that you guys don't even know how strong your product is because of the core and the history and what you're building on as a base. So what you're
Hmm.
marketing are the latest things that you've added, but I think that you don't remember what your history was and how you got here. But that core is essential and is part of all of the add-ons that you're adding today. And that core
Hmm.
is so strong. Your
Yeah.
core messages are so strong that you don't even remember how strong they are and what a difference they are. So somebody coming in will get that core that you've built,
Hmm.
and it will be such a strong base. And the add-ons, the features, the SEO, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the client stack,
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
things have such a strong core that I pay attention now to marketing and marketing messages. I critique them and I compare them to what I have. And I am an analyst and I'm
Yeah.
seeing things that I've never seen before. And I look at other marketing and it's simply missing the things that are in the core of Taxable Marketer.
Mm.
And so it's truly, truly that strong. Your
Yeah.
core premise, your core messages, ideas are like viruses. They move from mind to mind until they explode in the population. And the messages that you have are so explosive, so growth oriented. They're absolutely amazing. And nobody can, I'm an analyst, and nobody can touch the messages that you put out there. They
Mm.
don't, I'm, I've been drinking this water, this Kool-Aid for years, and I
Yeah.
cannot see anybody else having the strength of message that you guys have.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's great feedback. And obviously, we understand the power of content. You know, the content is king. Getting your message out there, getting a clear message, making sure that you're nurturing and you're following up with prospects and with clients. And it's all part of this ecosystem where a healthy marketing presence lives. It's you can have a website, but if a website isn't driven by content that's going to engage and nurture and draw people in, then it's not gonna get the results someone's looking for. But it's always very encouraging to hear from our clients and to hear like, hey, okay, good. This is, we know that it works, but it's also good to hear from the people that we serve, especially longtime clients like you, Phil. We've been doing this together for a lot of years. We have a,
yeah, we
depth of
really have.
relationship and we have a history together, which is really cool. And it's great to hear your perspective on that history of, hey, this is where we started, this was the core, the content, the emails, because that is where Tax Pro started almost 20 years ago. That Tax Pro started, we started as a direct mail company a long time ago. And the company has just evolved as the market has evolved. But that core is still there. The core of the content, the core of the relationship. And those are the things that have really driven us to the point where we are now. But Phil, thank you very much for taking some time and chatting with me and sharing some of your history and some of your story. It's been great getting to do this, and I'm really thankful and appreciative of you taking a little bit of time out of your day.
You're welcome. I will, speak highly of your company anytime I'm asked. Seriously.